this video, I'd like to introduce the new text backgrounds. You can find them in Photo Vision, in Video Vision, and in Stages 2024. I'm currently in Video Vision, with a text object inserted and centered in my visible image area. Up until now, you could only create your own text backgrounds, for example, and place it behind the text object. You can then stretch the shape to fit the text or copy the size of the text object and paste it onto the shape, making both the same size. Version 2024 now provides another way of working with text backgrounds in the properties of text objects, but also in the text properties of photos and videos. Or even with sound objects, now there is an option to enable a text background. Behind this setting, there's a whole universe of possibilities. I'm going to remove this rectangular shape so we don't constantly gaze at the black background. I will add a background image, then we will explore the new features of the text background function. As long as the background fill setting is not active, you won't see any background, of course. That changes as soon as you make an adjustment here. I'll initially switch to the position frame and a background for young appears, which follows the selection frame of the text object. I can change the size with the selection frame and I can move the entire text object along with its background. By the way, please don't get confused when I sometimes talk about the selection frame and the position frame. They are both the same thing. Is it this dashed frame in the layout designer? Of course, I can determine the color of the background. For that, you go into this color error. The color can be opaque or via this alpha value, also somewhat transparent. I can also select the shape of the background. Active is square, but here I can also switch to circle or ellipse. Depending on the setting, you can then make further adjustments. Here in the front, you have influence on the edge distance between text and background. You can specify a corner radius. Of course, that's only possible with square background colors. And you can also set a soft edge. For now, I'll set the 3 values back to 0. And then I'll show you the border option here. You can simply activate it and say whether it should appear on the inside of the position frame or in the middle or on the outside, depending on the selection you made. You can then adjust the border width and of course the wall color again. We can also animate this text object. For example, it displays the object small first and then shows it larger in 5 seconds. Here's what it might look like. I'm going to remove the movement options because we also want to explore the other options for filling. With the position frame setting, the background is always there. The background refers to the position frame. The text background doesn't matter, so it doesn't matter what is set here in animations. The same goes for the complete text setting here. The position frame is no longer used as a benchmark for the background, but the total height and total width of the existing letters. You can also make any adjustments here. I'm going to remove the margin and then you can see well that you can now increase the spacing between letters and the background here. This should be comprehensible as far as possible. And then we move on to the other settings for the filling, which really look interesting if you activate animations. I choose visible textile combinations. But you can only see an effect if you design the animations accordingly. I just left the previous example as it is. Now go to Customize and change the segmentation of whole text to line by line, meaning each line is individually displayed. And I'll briefly remove the alpha blending. Then you see first the first line with a background is displayed, then the second line with a background is displayed, and both are connected combined. I lower the margin. I now select combined animated text parts and leave the other settings. Then you can see that only the animated text line really has a background, and otherwise the background disappears. If you now change the segmentation, perhaps even to letter by letter, then the background is only visible for the currently displayed letter. And I'll show you another variant, how you can make text appear in cloud form or in blob form, for example. For this, I'll extend the text a bit to a third line and then switch to visible text parts, letter by letter. A cloud or a blob are rather round, and I'll also increase the spacing right away. In this example, you can also see what this setting does here. I leave the smooth connection and then add an edge, and this creates this effect. By combining the fill settings and the animations, you can really create a huge number of variants of text overlays and text backgrounds yourself. The possibilities have been significantly expanded in version 2024. By now, you can let texts appear in reverse. Play around with the settings and be sure to check out the included inscriptions, which you can find here in the toolbox. You can drag the templates into the timeline and edit and change them for your own purposes. I would also like to recommend the sample project for the inscriptions to you. You can find this under File Open Sample Project. Be inspired by the inscription ideas and take a look at the settings. Have fun working with the new text backgrounds. If you liked the video, I'm happy about a thumbs up. Thank you. Subtitles by Stephanie Geiges.